Hi, David?
Senator Clinton.
Well, this is Hillary Clinton, and I just worried that you'd be so lonely talking to Jan Mickelson's audience that nobody would call in, and I didn't want you to feel bad starting off this radio turn you're doing. So I figured I had to call and tell you somebody out there is listening.
Well, that's very nice of you to call.
Well, I'm glad to talk to you. We're having a great time. We're heading back to the fairgrounds. We're going to meet with some more folks and talk about the campaign, and we wanted to get you off to a good start today.
Well, it's very nice of you to call. This is a surprise. I didn't realize you were going to do that. I have to ask you a question. I mean, tell me a little bit about how you think your campaign is going here in Iowa. I mentioned earlier on the early polls didn't have you doing very well here. Do you think things are back on track?
Oh, I think things are going great. I don't think it's back on. I think it's, we had to start and get organized and get out and meet people, and obviously I hadn't done it before, and as I said last night at the fairgrounds, not even my husband had done it before, but I'm feeling really, really good about the support we're gathering, and I'm one of these people, it's one day at a time, and you just keep moving forward, and so far, so good.
Senator, what's your reaction to President Clinton's commutation of Scooter Libby's sentence? You made reference to that in your speech at the fairgrounds last night. Tell me about that.
Well, David, I think it's disappointing, but unfortunately not unexpected from this administration. They think they're above the law. They think that the rule of law is an inconvenience that they can skirt whenever they choose. This is just one of many examples, and it's dispiriting because the president and the vice president have really decided that they are above the law, and they don't respond to legitimate congressional inquiries. They obviously don't really value the identity of a covert CIA agent and decided to expose her for the purposes of their own political and partisan advantage. I think people are really fed up with it, and I don't think that's confined to Democrats. The more I travel the country, independents and Republicans are coming to my events, contributing to me, and a lot of it has to do with their feeling they didn't sign up for this agenda that's been promoted so vigorously over the last 6.5 years. So I'm very sorry that the president decided to do it, but I think it speaks loudly about what their real priorities and values are. David, we're pulling up here at the fairgrounds, but I do have somebody who also would like to say a word to you, partly because we think it'll drive the usual audience a little bit wild. That'll get people, really ginned up. The blood will flow this morning for the Jan Mickelson show regulars.
Thank you for the help, Senator. Thank you.
Anytime, David. Hang on.
Hey, David, how are you?
Hello, Mr. President. Welcome to Iowa.
Thanks. I had a good time yesterday. I told Jerry Crawford that this is sort of like my political fix. I've been out of this so long, I just needed a shot here, and you gave it to me last night.
Well, time to get you in an Iowa caucus fight. How did you think it went last night?
Oh, I thought it was great. I was pleased by the big, enthusiastic crowds, and we met with several smaller groups, which was interesting to me, and I'm just trying to get a feel for how this process works. But I do like, I believe in retail campaigning. I believe people should look voters in the eye and listen to them and answer their questions, and so I like this kind of process.
Will you be campaigning more for your wife in this caucus process, or is this just a 1-3 day hit?
Well, I hope not. I hope I get to come back. I'm having a good time, and I like it here. And the people of Iowa were very good to me in 92 and 96 when I ran, and, of course, I had to come here frequently when I was president, beginning with the floods in 93. So I like coming here, and I find this whole thing utterly fascinating. So in this campaign, I do what I'm asked. Otherwise, I go out and run my foundation and do the work I'm supposed to do. So I'll do whatever I'm asked to do, but I hope I get to come back because I really do like it, and I find it utterly fascinating. Well, I hope I can figure it out.
Mr. President, I have to ask you this question since it's timely. What is your reaction to President Bush's commutation of Scooter Libby's prison sentence? You had some controversial pardons during your presidency. What's your reaction to what President Bush did?
Yeah, but I think the facts were different. I think, there are guidelines for what happens when, somebody's convicted. And I think that, you got to understand, I think that this is consistent with their philosophy. They believe that they should be able to do what they want to do, and that the law is a minor obstacle. I think that's what I think. I think that, it was wrong to out that CIA agent and wrong to try to cover it up, and wrong that no one was ever fired from the White House for doing it.
Well, Mr. President, thank you very much for giving us a call this morning. This is a real pleasant surprise. I hadn't expected to get this call. You should know you're on a radio station that was Ronald Reagan's big start years ago in Iowa.
Yeah, wasn't he originally a sports guy? Didn't he talk about baseball and stuff on this radio?
He did. He could fake a baseball game. He had read it over a little telegraph line, and he would call the game without actually seeing the game. And during his presidency, he once did that at an event I covered. I tell you, it was a fascinating thing to see, to watch somebody just off the top of their head talk about a baseball game. So anyway, thank you very much.
He was good. He was good. Probably better at those kind of things than anybody we've had in a long time.
He was. Well, thank you, sir, for calling. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, David.
Bye now.